Once again, a very good morning to the children of class 9. So, as I've told you, with regard to the curriculum or the syllabus pattern, there are certain chapters over which you will be evaluated by means of a question paper, and there are certain chapters where internal assessments will be made, like a project can be made for you to, you can be asked to make a project, or certain assignments can be provided to you, or internally units can be taken by the respective teachers. So, the chapters, first of all, we will complete the chapters from which you will be evaluated by means of a question paper. And here we have already started with the 4th chapter, which is electoral politics in India. As I have told you that democracy, democracy can never be possible if elections are not there. Why? As I've told you before, that it is during an election, it is during elections, in a democracy what happens? The final power, the sovereign power is in the hands of the people of the country. So how will you exercise this power? You exercise this power or use this power during times of elections. That means during elections you go and you give your votes to the party or the candidate whom you prefer or whom you want to be in power. So that particular party, after getting your votes, they form the government. As I've told you before, that without elections, no democracy can be possible. And if you don't have political parties also, without political parties, no elections can be possible. So all are interlinked. And then I've told you about, in a democracy, for having true democratic elections, free, fair and proper elections, if you want to have, what you need to have is that the election should be conducted by an independent body, and this independent body is the Election Commission. It is a completely independent body. Why? Because this body, has been formed from the judiciary. Usually they are judges of the Supreme Court or the High Courts, and this is the body, which is formed during every election, the Election Commission. And it consists of one Chief Justice and one Chief Election Commissioner and 2 other election commissioners. And one more thing, during whenever an election is going to take place, all the government and central government, state government as well as central government officials will be directly working under the Election Commission of India. Now, first we will see that what is the work which the election, today we are going to see what are the tasks, what are the factors, what are the functions which are actually undertaken by the Election Commission of India. This is an independent body, as I have told you before. So, whenever there is an election in the country, take for example in India there is going to be an election to the Lok Sabha. So, Lok Sabha, that means for the whole country it's going to take place. So, first of all, what the Election Commission will do is that it will see the voters list, or it is also known as the electoral roll. Electoral roll means, that means who are the people, those who are going to vote. Why it is need to be revised? Is that because there are many people, who have left this world. So their names are to be removed, and there are thousands of young children who are just stepped into 18 years or have stepped into adulthood. So their name is to be added to this electoral register or the voters list. This particular list has to be revised by the Election Commission. Then it comes with constituencies. That means how many constituencies are supposed to be there. What is a constituency? Take for example, this is India, and India is divided into states. Is it possible that for the whole country you are going to have the election on the single day? If that would have been the case, I would think that it's not me, everybody in the world would think that another third world war would have, why third? So many world wars would have taken place, because all of us going and rushing to go to vote in one particular single day. So that is not possible. So what had happened, even in one particular state, if you want, If for example this is West Bengal, you see the population of West Bengal, if you go and analyze that, you'll come to, you see the Google and things like that, you'll find that the population of West Bengal is higher or greater than even New Zealand as a country alone. So it's not possible to conduct elections in one single day for a particular state. So for the reason of this convenience, what happens, every state is divided into several electoral zones. Electoral zones. Usually one district is converted into one electoral zones, and these electoral zones are actually known as constituencies. So when you are forming a constituency, you have to remember two things in mind. One, it is the territory, that means what is the size of that territory, and secondly is the population. Here I'll give you one example why population is a factor. I don't know whether you people were very young that time. From 2014 onwards, you will see that the district where you are living, that is Burdwan. Burdwan previously, before 2014, it was treated as one constituency. But afterwards, it was found out by the Election Commission that Burdwan has become very big in size, and it is very difficult to conduct election in Burdwan at a particular day. So what happened, Burdwan is now broken down into two constituencies. One is known as Burdwan East, or which you known as Purba Burdwan. Another one is Burdwan West, that is known as Paschim Burdwan. That means we belong to the eastern part of Burdwan. That means the population, that means the people, those who are going to vote, they have become so much, the number has become so big that it could not, the whole election process for the district of Burdwan could not be conducted by in a one day or in a proper manner, peaceful manner in one particular day. So it had to be broken down into two constituencies. So when we are forming a constituency, we have to see what should be what is the territory and what is the population. One more thing you have to mention here is that who are electorates? Electorates are people who are eligible to vote. Eligible to vote means those who can vote. It is not that always people, those who are 18 years and above, they go and vote. There are certain criteria which you have to fulfill before you start going to give a vote. First of all, you should be a citizen of India. You should be 18 years and above. You should be mentally sound. That means you should not, your mental balance should be okay. And then you should not have a criminal record. That means you should not be found to have broken or violated the laws of the constitution. You should not be a bankrupt or things like that. If you have fulfilled this criteria, you can become an electorate. Electorate is a person, that means who is eligible to vote, that means who is going to go and give vote for the upcoming elections in the country. So I've told you what are constituencies. Constituencies are electoral zones which have been made for the purpose of smooth elections, perfect elections, efficient elections without any kinds of problem. And these constituency, so I've told you constituencies are electoral zones. Constituencies are again of two types. One is single member constituency, another one is multi-member constituency. Multi-member constituency. What do you mean by single member constituency? Take for example, these are the different constituencies. So in an election, as I've told you, in an election without political parties, no elections can be possible. So when you go and give the vote, you have an electronic voting machine which you know as EVM. So you will see that different parties are there, symbols are there. So what happens? From different parties they are coming. So in a single member constituency, what happens? From one constituency, from one political party, one candidate will stand up for contest election. One candidate. That means if he's coming, if from BJP, then one candidate, from TMC one candidate, from CPIM one candidate, from Congress one candidate, from independent one candidate will contest election from that particular constituency. That means from every constituency, whenever there is an election, only one member will contest election from one party. And in a multi-party, that means more than one. That means from one party, you can have 2 members, you can have 3 members. Similarly for the other parties also. But the most popular method of election is single member constituency. Clear? So this is what the 2 important functions first today, which I have actually, I have explained to you, is that what is an electoral roll, who is an electorate, what is a constituency, and what are the things which you should keep in mind before forming a constituency, and how many kinds of constituencies are there. First of all, you remember, you keep in mind all these things, and with in the next class I will be doing the later half of the chapter. Till then, be happy and stay at home and be safe. Thank you.